to this new video. Today we're gonna do a little live session about a video from Bart Swings that he posted on his social media this week. He was training near a river, and apparently he was doing like a marathon session. So I know that sometimes he like to do sometime like once a week he like to do a 42K session at a classic speed, and he posted a little video about it this week, and it's quite nice actually. If you look on the Instagram for target video analyze, you can also see that they make an analyze of this video, and it's quite cool. So I also think okay, it's good opportunity to do also one. I try to do it live. Please put in the comment if everything is good, if the sound is good. It would be nice if I can have a little comment about it. Feel free also to put some tongue up to motivate YouTube to promote a little bit more this video. So we will have this analyze will take part in a different moment. So we will have one part I will talk about the landing of his skate. One part I will speak about his body weight transferred, how we do it. Then I will speak about how is the return of his free leg is doing the job to help him. And then we will speak a little bit also about how we do his classic push. And then I will show you which one are the most important moments in the double push technique. And based on the video I already put on YouTube about the double push, you will be able to see if it's a glutes double push, quadriceps double push, or just a body weight transfer double push. So let's get started about this. I can see in the comment, okay, thanks Daniel for telling me the sound is good. Everything's clear, so it's perfect. If you have any question, you can also ask them in the comment. I will try to answer this at the same time as I'm doing the video, but there is a little delay between what I see is the question and the video. So let's get started with this, and we will start first with the moment of the landing of his skate. So let's get the right moment from it. Okay, so from here, so you see the first picture in the top left is about the same moment as I have already on the picture now. And what's interesting, what I like in this moment is the way he's landing his skate. You see, he's landing his skate almost under his hip. It's not really draw very good, but it's almost under the hip, the way he lands the skate. And I am quite doing the same actually, and I really like to do the same. I like to land almost with my skate under the hip at this moment of the skating. So it's quite important. It's quite important to do this to be able to generate a good body weight transfer later. Most of the people who are not doing double push, they will do a classic mistake and they will kind of land the skate in, let's say, in this area, not really this what I want to draw. Yeah, not this also. I try to make one line. Yeah, it's not really working, but I think you see what I want to do. I will use another tool maybe to show you this. Give me one little second for this. I will get this tool will work. So most of the people, they will not land the skate here actually. They will kind of land the skate more here. So it's much harder than to create pressure on the skate and to use the body weight. So first important moment is the landing of the skate. You can see he's kind of landing also his skate a little bit with the front wheels first also. So he's not landing from the back or part of the skate, which is quite a problem when you do this. I recommend to land always flat or from the front wheels first. I'm mainly landing from the front wheels first. And here, what's important for the double push is landing almost under his hip. Okay. So let's get to the next part here. So here you see I need this arrow here. So he's landing here, and then between this moment of the push and the end of the push here, you see this little moment. I think he's using this end of the push here not to really generate some power into the ground, because like I explained in the target theory in one of my first videos, you don't really get a lot of grip at this part of the push. So I think he's using this part of the push mainly to move his body weight. Okay, so he's using this end of the push to bring his body weight to the outside here. And as soon as this is done, he is quite in good position when it's like this to, not really when I want to draw, I'm not good in drawing, yes. And then the line is falling to the outside. And from this, he can generate more body weight transfer. So this body weight transfer is like a double push. So we have the choice from the first picture here. From the first picture, let's go here, to this one, we have the choice, or he can push to the inside with the anchor here to create some angle, like this, or he can move his body weight to the outside to create the angle. So it's two possibilities. He can also do the two things at the same time. He can push to the inside and move his body weight, or he can only push to the inside, or he can just transfer his body weight. So if he's pushing to the inside mainly, that would be kind of a glutes double push, like I explained in my classic double push video. If he just used his glutes, he would push to the inside and use a movement like this. And this, you use this when you want to use your power. When you want to be more, don't kill so much energy, when you don't want to kill so much energy in your movement, you will mainly use a body weight transfer and bring your upper body to the outside here. So I think at the speed he's going now, in this kind of ring, he's mainly doing this and play with his body weight. So it's still a double push movement, but it's more in an efficient way, like you want to save energy and not really use a lot of muscle. Next part that is important for me in this video is the way he's using the way he's using his free leg. So here he didn't really move his leg, but look at the free leg is the leg when it's lift. When he lifts the skate from the ground, this skate here is what I call the free leg. So he's using, normally Bart is using quite much this leg when he's doing a movement like this, really side to side, from outside to inside with his leg, to create some power, and especially to move his body weight to the side. So let's go back to the main video. I will try to be little, I don't know if it's gonna work here. Yes, it's not so bad. So when he's bringing back his leg, he's using the movement of his leg. He's really using the movement of his left free legs to bring all his body weight going on the outside. You see this moment? He's using his leg, he brings the legs quite quick, bam, 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 and then it gives some kind of inertia in the movement to bring everything to the side. So it's rolling, but he's using his body weight transferred. You see how much the body weight go. Maybe with the arrow I can show it better. The arrow, the body weight is here, and then it's moving a lot. It's going a lot to the side. You see, it was here and now it's here. Maybe the cameraman guy, he moved a little bit also, but I don't think it was so much. So he's transferring a lot his body weight to the side, and he's giving a lot of free energy. This is really free energy at this moment. And then at this moment he's almost in same position as at the beginning of the movement, like we showed before. ready to land, almost landing here. So you see, one more time, we go there. So he's doing his landing, he's using the end of his push to take the angle, then he brings back his leg quite quick to bring some inertia in the movement to make the body weight transferred, and then he's ready again to land under his body weight with the left leg, almost at the end of the push. At this moment he did quite all the part of the push is done at this moment. I think it's my picture number 4 here, yes. So you can see basically he pushed only from ear to ear. So it's quite a small push for the classic push. The classic push is small, but it's enough. It's really not needed to do much more, but at this moment he's doing this slowly with a good pressure on the ground to create a lot of speed. He's really totally in the power box or in the center of the target. If you look at one of my first videos about the target theory, he's really at this moment pushing a lot under his body weight, so a lot in the middle of the target, the middle of the power box. So that's super effective. After this, I think he used the end of his push, like I say, mainly to move the position of his upper body. I think he's using this end of the push to position good the upper body. He's also ready to land the skate really under the hip. So for me in this training, it's doing a movement that is super effective. It's super effortless actually. So that's one of the reasons when he can go fast without using too much energy. So probably he can keep this speed easily for 1 hour. It's super effective because he has a good push here and he has a very good body weight transfer that he's using during the comeback of his free leg. And these two elements make that his double push is really, really effective in this moment. So let's go back. The music is too loud here. Let me cut this. I need to get one moment. Okay, so let's go back to this part of the video. So we already see, like I show you at the beginning, we already see that he's landing his skate under the hip. We saw that at the end of the push, he will move his upper body to get in the right position to use perfectly his body weight. He will use the return of his free leg to create a very wide body weight transfer to the side, and then he will make a very effective push in the center of the target here before landing. You see, and the landing is quite early also. It's very similar, I think, to what I was doing when I was skating in this part, because he will have a very good double contact moment. You can see also that his technique changed quite a lot here on the video. I think it's the Berlin Marathon from 2004, I would say, 2014, I would say, and here it's a video from the Power Slide TV that he did with, I think it was done with Scott, probably, and they did quite a good analyze also of the movement. So I invite you to go on the channel, subscribe this channel also. It's already more than 100,000 subscribers, so it's quite good, and you find quite some good video. But from those days, one big difference, if you look at this picture here, is mainly that here you see the landing was done before, but in those days he was not landing so much like now. Now he's landing his skate much more under his body weight. It's not exactly the same moment, but when you look, this moment he would not have so much before. Okay, so let's go back to the video to make it play. You see his landing is not exactly the same here. It's little more inside than before. And but still it's also different technique, because at this moment he is using his arms, so it will be a bit different. So I try to clean my whiteboard. Okay, so I think the video is keep playing, yes. And let's try to go to this, let's say to this magical moment. I need to find it back in the video again. I think it's not so far, 50.9, just before this. Yes, this moment, I think it's almost the same as the picture you see down. Almost perfect, I would say. I will try to get it differently. Yes, almost there. So this one is one of my favorite moments in the double push. It's the moment I really like the most. First, he's using full power at this moment, and he's really doing a glutes double push. He's landing here, so it's not even under his hip, it's more outside, it's almost outside of his hip. And then he will get some ground to the inside as much as he can. Not a lot because he's going regular speed quite high because he's in a breakaway mode, but this position is really classic from someone who would do double push using his glutes muscle. You see, it's not really normal to have the body weight between the skates. It's not a moment that we try to have normally, but when you want to use as much muscle as you want, you can do this. And then the push is going from now, it should go to the inside here at the same time as this body weight would go to the outside here. So the coordination between these two movements is what's gonna create a very effective double push. So at this moment, I'm quite sure he's almost full effort. He's trying to give as much as he can because of this position. Otherwise, I think he would land his skate much more little more to the inside, or even more under his hip. The camera is not really placed good, but he would land more here if he was not full speed, and because he's full speed, he tried to land little bit on the outside of his hip, and then he will try to make his push to the inside. And I really like this moment. It's super, you can use a lot of muscle from your hip at this moment. You can use a lot your quadriceps too. So it's a very effective moment of skating. One part that I like this, so and he's doing this quite often in this video, in this marathon. In those days, he was doing this a lot. So okay, so you see quite some important moment. The landing is important under the hip if you are going regular speed using a double push. Landing little more outside if you want to use more power to get more ground moment, totally in the center of the target, totally in the center of the power box. If you want to steal little bit, you would land more outside and use this moment. Second part is coordinate your body weight transfer during the end of the push. When the push is not so effective, you use this to move your body weight to the outside. And when it's lean outside, as soon as the hip is going over the outside of your skate here, then it's a perfect timing to play with your free leg. And your free leg can be super active. It's different. You can try different movement. Bart is doing super simple at this moment. He's just bringing back the leg as fast as he can, I think, or quite fast in a very short movement. Nolan is doing a much bigger movement behind. I like to do a bigger movement behind. And I try also to steal a little bit this technique of Bart by doing a short movement to the inside. It's super effective actually. I really like when I can do this. The problem is that to be able to maintain this, you need to be super in shape, which I'm not at the moment. So I can do this for 500 meters, and from doing this I can keep quite easily the speed over 40, between 40 and 45 kilometers an hour, but I can keep it only 500 meters because I'm not strong enough to hold this, because you use a lot of muscle group to create this speed. But those guys like Felix or like Bart or Nolan, they are, or even Patchy, they are so much in shape that they can hold this not for 1 hour, but for a big part of the marathon or in the most important part of the marathon. So Bart is like a monster for this. He's super in shape, and he can. That's why most of the time he can break away and keep very high speed alone. It's because he can generate a lot of power for a long moment during with a double push technique. Okay, so that was mainly this about this analyze. If you have any question, you can write them maybe in the comment of the video. I try to look. I have one question from skatography. How much percentage of force is the leg push and how much percentage of the body weight transfer? Yeah, that's quite a good question. It's still not finished. How much percentage of force do you use in the inside compared to the outside? So there is two questions. First question is how much, so I will try to go, let's say, I will go back in the moment before. I will try to put down the music because apparently it's loud this. Bing. Okay, I hope the music is better. If it's too loud, let me know again. So first question, how much percentage we use from the inside push compared to the body weight transfer? So inside push would be this moment, and body weight transfer would be moving my hip to the outside. So basically, you can decide how much effort you want to put. If you want to save some energy, you will mainly play or almost only play with your body weight transfer. So if you are in a pack in the draft and if you want to do almost no effort, you would just, at this moment, you will just move your body weight to the outside and not use any muscle to push to the inside. Then you don't want to push in the inside if you want to save energy. If the speed is going higher, or if you are following a guy like Felix or Bart, and he's trying to create breakaway or to catch somebody, then you have no choice because they will use the body weight, but at the same time they will put as much power as they can to maintain the speed. Instead of just rolling, they will use quite some effort in this moment to keep the speed high very long. So that's why it's very hard to keep up, even to keep with them, even if you are in the draft. If you are not doing this inside push at the right moment, then they will create a little gap. They will take 50 centimeters. So you have to do a very good classic push to come back. Then they will do again this little moment. You come back, and this, if you do this, you follow them for 200 meters, and then you explode, and then it's finished. So you have to also be able to generate this inside power. If you want to go full speed for not a sprint, but a full speed for breakaway speed, or if you want to go over 45 kilometers an hour, let's say, in a marathon, then you will play a lot with the forces, with the inside force, and find the timing of the body weight just to help. But it's more to correct the part of the push that you miss. So it's much more effort that you have to do for this. Now, second question from skatography was how much force do we use in the inside push compared to the outside push? Basically, it's also all about how you want to maintain your speed. Remember that the most regular your speed will be, the most effortless it will be. But sometimes you miss one push. If you inside push, you don't feel enough grip and you cannot put enough forces, or if you are just only rolling, then your speed is going down. That means during the classic push, you will have to put more effort to bring it up to the level you want. So it's all about how much you can keep the pressure between the inside and the outside push. If you make a very good inside push, then your outside push can be with little less forces. If you have enough, if you can maintain your speed like this, okay. But if you miss the inside push, then you have to push harder on the outside. And the other way around, if you make very good inside push and then you miss a little bit this push, sometimes you open too much your skate up and it's going too fast away from you. Then it's going too fast away, then in the landing here, you will have to do a very good or a little more forces in your inside push. So it's all about how you coordinate these two push or these 4 push in one cycle to keep the speed you want. I hope you understand good what I say about this, and thanks for the question. So I have another question from Hassan. Is this technique applicable for short race? So depend what you say short race. If short race is a 100 meters or 200 meters on the track, it's not really useful. You know, on the total sprint, we will not really use so much this inside push. We will be more dynamic, little more dynamic, and we will use much more the force from the classic push. So in 100 meters, not many people will use this kind of technique. Okay. Also, when they do the sprint at the end of a marathon, if it's a massive sprint, they will not do so much this technique. They will go much more into a classic sprint technique. Next question from Daniel. What is the double push for final sprint, like for the last 200 meters of a 21K? So it's a little bit the same question here. Then at the end of a sprint, we would depend if it's just a straight line also, depend how it's going, but mainly we will use a more classic push. We would have less on a normal full sprint marathon, we would have less of this inside push. Okay, depend also from the kind of skater. If it's a skater who is not with a lot of quick fiber in his muscle, then they can use more the inside push because it's going to be a very powerful one. If it's a skater who have a good speed legs and a good timing for this, it's not so much necessary. It would become necessary at the end of a 200 meter sprint for a 21K or 40K if the finish is in downhill. Okay, when it's in downhill, then the speed leg will become less important and the pushing time would become more important. So basically this push would be amazing. Next question, should the push for the double push be with 2 feet at the same time? So thanks Musa Gomez for this question. So what you mentioned here is what I call the double contact. In France we call this the double contact. Arnaud Jekyll with one of the coach in France is also calling this double contact. Basically there is one moment, if I look here, he's still pushing with the left leg and he's landing the right leg. So there is a little moment where you will have the push with the 2 legs. Still this one is finishing and this, you want to start this inside push before you finish the outside push. So you have a little moment when you have double contact to create the push. If you don't have a double contact, that means there will be one moment you will be only rolling, and then when you're only rolling, your speed is going down. So you don't want to have this, you want to try to avoid any moment where you are inactive and just rolling. So this is why this double contact can be very, very important. So one more question from Amy Vlogs. Did sprinter use double push at full speed or just move of the body weight? Basically, like I say a little before, we don't really use so much the double push in a sprint for full speed, and even less the body weight transferred. Every time we do the body weight transferred, so basically if I take the first picture, it's okay, he's still pushing, but during a body weight transferred, when my hip is just over my skate, this moment I would not be able to push. If I'm doing just a classic technique, if my gravity center is over my push, totally at vertical, it's a moment I cannot generate, I can generate pressure, but I cannot generate push. So it's not really the best. So if you have double push, you have 2 moments where your gravity center is over your skate. So there is 2 tiny moments where you are just having pressure and no push. So this is in sprint a little problem. Too many body weight transfer will create more this little moment. So you still have some, like Joseba Fernandez. Joseba Fernandez is doing really good in this. He can generate just enough body weight transferred during the glide, but he has a very good ratio for this. It's not a too big body weight transferred. In sprint, if you make too big body weight transferred, it's very hard to generate some pressure in the ground. Next question, from Tom Eck. I understand it varies, but can force from inside push be comparable with the force from classic push? I mean, can it generate as much force as classic push? For me, it's not that it generates the same. We can generate even more. I think we can generate even more pressure from the inside push. Uh, it's the most effective moment in skating actually. From this second picture, if you look, most of the brand, they will use, since Shad is having this for some logos, or Joey using this for logos, or Valentin Thibault, you will find very often this moment where the body weight is on the outside of the push. And it's basically this moment, the body weight is outside of the push. And that's, for me, it's one of the pictures we use the most in to make logos. It's because also it's the most perfect moment in skating. That's where you can generate the most power in the ground, especially if you are doing the inside push here with the glutes. So for me, yes, the inside push would be more important. I will first focus on doing a better inside push than an outside push. Can you explain again how you keep pressure again after your inside push? Yes, so that's also a very good question. Thank you for having all this question. So Jorn is explaining this. You already asked me today in some other video about this. So first you do your inside push, okay? So you are doing your inside push, and then you have to torque your skate a little bit, like on the third picture here. Actually, this moment you see that Bart is opening a little bit the skates here, and if you open too much the skate, then he will quickly go to the outside and to behind yourself. So then if it's too much open, you lose the pressure and the skate go away. So you have to be able to open the skate, but not too much at this moment, to keep the pressure. And as soon as it's going away, then you want to try to close it again. So between this moment when the skate is open and here, you can see it's already, it was open, and then he's bringing back the skate almost to a closed position at the end of the push. So that's how you keep your pressure during your classic push after the inside push. Mr. Oliveira, that is also doing a lot of video on YouTube and Facebook, especially some roller aerobics video. You can go look his channel, it's quite good also. He has one question here: do the double push work well when raining? Actually, not so much. Still, we will use little bit body weight transferred. It's very similar technique, and basically there is a very amazing picture of Ewen Fernandez when he got his first World Championship title in Italy. I cannot remember which year, maybe 2009 or something like this. And if you look on the Facebook page or Instagram from Ewen, you will probably find one of his video or one of his photo, and you see the rain mark on the ground. It's drawing behind him, and it's perfectly drawing what your skate need to draw on the ground for the double push. And it was raining, so there is different situation. Now with the rain wheels like Storm or like Torrent, you have enough grip to make little bit like a double push. So if the road is grippy, it's okay, you can still create kind of a double push effect even when it's raining. If it's super slippery, like for Berlin Marathon last year, for example, then it's super hard to have a double push. Basically, you try to have as much of the push in the center of the target, and you try to play a little bit with your body weight over it, but you don't make a lot of fast body weight transfer when it's raining. Next question: how much should the under push foot open? So again, very good question. So we talked a little bit about this in two questions earlier, but if your skate is too open like this, after you make your inside push, and then it's open to get back here, if you open too much, the ground will grip in your wheels and slow down your skate, basically, and bring your skate behind and slow you down. So you have to play with this, it's kind of your decision on how fast you want to move your body weight. But most of the people, they feel they do a very good double push, but they open too much like this, and then it becomes a break. Okay, it's become a braking situation and not a very running situation. You want to go as much as possible in the, you want to have your wheels as much as possible in the direction you're going. So if you can sometimes close a little bit or open a little bit, but if you open too much, which is making some cool picture, it gives a good feeling, but it's not making a lot of speed and it costs a lot of energy. When you open too much after the inside push to get to the classic push, then it's a big problem. So you have to open, and everybody will open the skate at this moment, but if you open too much, it's a problem, and it will kind of slow you down. So try not to open too much this skate here, and as you can see here on this picture, Bart is open, the skate is open here. When I mean open, means the front of the skate is like this here. Okay, so maybe in this picture for you it's like this, and if it's here it's straight, and if it's like this it's closed. So there is one moment you have to open, but if you open too much, you will just slalom and make too much distance with no pressure, basically. Next question, you say in the write down image, question from, that is pushing with a small range. Why did he do so? And why should the range when should the range be wider? So this is also one of my video, the target theory. It's very important video. I think it's probably 4,000 or 5,000 views on from this video. It was one of my first videos, sometimes a bit boring because I'm just speaking a lot on this one, but the content is super important to understand the skating and how to generate speed with low effort. So this question is really about this. Why should we use a small range of pushing? I know many coaches will do the opposite and they will tell you to push as far as possible, which is kind of true. I like to push, you have to push as far as possible as long as you have grip. And this is all the target theories about this. When your skate is close to your body weight center, you have a maximum pressure on your wheels, you have a maximum grip, so all your push will be effective. So from here to here, I like to say it's 100% efficiency. Then from here to where is Bart push is 80% efficiency. And from here to here, it will be maybe 20% efficiency, and even longer distance, a longer push in distance, that would be not even 5%. So I focus most of my push between under my hip to the beginning here. This is the most important moment of the classic push. Everything after, for me, is a waste of energy because you have to push a lot, but the pressure is not so much on your wheels, so you cannot generate a good reaction from the ground. So there is most of your energy that is going away. So that's why I think what I explained in the first two pictures at the beginning of the video, at the end of the push, Bart is probably just using the end of his push to replace his body weight and not really to create a push. So if you don't understand, if I was not clear enough, please go again look the target video. I think it's quite good explain about what I mean about it. In USA they will talk about the power box mainly. Power box is kind of the area under the body weight that is effective for push. So it's the beginning of the idea, but I think the target theory is going further in terms of explanation about this. Alors, can the double push? Alors, next question. I lose a little bit. I lose some time. Okay. So Hassan, I hope I could answer good to your question. Skatography again. Do you open the skate with the heel, foot, or the leg, hip, body? Okay, very good question. I think skatography has a lot of feeling also when he's skating. So there is different way to open or stay straight or stay close when you land your skate. Basically, I try to bring it close at the landing, like at this moment, like what Bart is doing here. I like to land a little bit close. And from this, I would do it from the hip. I would create like a little internal rotation inside my hip to make the front of my skate look to the inside. Sometimes you don't have time to do it perfectly. So if you don't do this movement perfectly, if you cannot generate from the hip the little internal rotation, then you want to correct it, you correct the last millimeters from the ankle, okay, not from the knee. The knee is not really made to do this kind of twist, so don't try to correct this movement from the knee. You can correct first from the hip, nothing from the knee, and then correct from the ankle, and then it's the detail. Basically you make most of the precision here, the most part of the movement is here, and then you correct the little detail from your ankle in that moment. So also very good question. I hope it was clear enough for this explanation. Okay, thank you for the nice comment I have in this video. Is the double push more efficient compared to standard push? No doubt about this. Basically, if somebody is skating in front of you with a double push and you are only following with the standard push, if you have the same physical quality at the start, basically you can do maybe 2 kilometers behind the other skater and he will drop you super easy. What's happening between the classic push is you push and your speed go up, then you roll. So when you roll, your speed go down, then you push, then you roll, then you push, then you roll. So if somebody else with a double push, your speed will be more consistent. It will never go, you will not have a very long moment where you're only rolling, so you're not losing your speed, so you don't have to push a lot to generate it again. So your speed will be more flat. So if my speed is flat and behind you, you are doing like this, very quickly you will get tired compared to me. So that's why you almost have no chance to keep behind somebody who is doing double push. And if it's double push from the inside, or it's from the extension of the leg, or from the body weight transferred, basically yes, with the standard push only, you have no chance to follow somebody who is doing really good. And that's also why at the moment there is mainly only 5 skaters in the world who are winning almost all the marathon. If you see, it's Pachi, Bart, Felix, Nolan, and Diogo, more or less, and Ewen, I would mean. And all these 5 guys, they will almost win every marathon in the last 5 years because they are almost the only one who are doing this double push super good. So yeah, one of the big reasons. Next time, can you analyze Katy Rumpus? Yes, of course. He says she's jumping into the next leg swing. So yes, it's there. She has a little different technique, but she's also super powerful. And the race style in the girl is a bit different. So most of the time they have a final sprint, and in the men's race at the moment it's more an offensive race. If you look in my years, it was the other way around. All the men's race was more with a bunch sprint at the end, and the women's race was much more with attack. So it depends on the style of the skater. And Katy is very successful because she's super powerful and good in the sprint also. She can do a lot of different skills. She can break away also, but she's super talented for sprint with Sandrine Tass and so on. So I think it's more advantage to do this kind of technique and focus on this at the moment. Also for the woman, it's little different to do the double push because the construction of the hip is little different. So it would be another video to explain all this, but it's much more difficult, I think, for a woman to get into this position here. It's really the hip construction of the woman will bring them quicker to the classic push. So they are better than us in the classic push, and it's more difficult for some women, most of the women, I would say, to generate more outside push. So it's different body construction, I think. It's maybe I'm wrong in this, but it's when I try to analyze and find some reason about this, that could be one of the reasons, because of the way the hip is built with the humerus bones, I would say. It's a little bit different construction, so that could influence a lot the way the double push is done. Next question. I try to look at them at the same time. Maybe sorry if I missed some of them. I know it's very important for the boots to fit tightly to the foot, but how tight should fit be around upper ankle? My icon fit tight on foot but loose on ankle. Okay, so this is a quite important question, this also. It's very different from one shoes to another. You need to have shoes. It doesn't be, for me, it doesn't need to be super tight in the ankle, but it needs to be stiff. So in my shoes, they are tight in the front part and in the lower back part of my skate, but not so tight around the malleole. Malleolus, I don't know exactly how we say this in English. It's not so tight in this part, but it's stiff enough so when my bone get in contact with the shoes is not doing any movement. I don't like that my shoes is soft. Otherwise, I don't really trust it. But if it's stiff enough, my shoes, when my ankle get in contact, then I know I have the support, and from there I can build my movement. So if it's too tight, if the carbon is too close around the ankle, you could feel you get a better precision, but sometimes it's so close that there is no place to correct the movement. So you cannot really play with millimeters in your ankle to correct it. So I prefer to have little more space around the ankle, but stiff material, but not also too wide. If it's too wide, then it's less stability, and then it's harder to control. So for this, basically, custom shoes will make a big difference between a standard shoes. At the moment, as a standard shoes, I like a lot the X 195. I think it's a quite good fitting from the upper front part of the shoes, and the ankle is quite good also. So basically, when I was not using two pair of custom for 3 times 125 and 4 times 110, I was actually using one pair of standard X 195 and one pair of custom Macargo to have two pair of skate. So next question. Don't know. What is the name of the US athlete, athlete with big legs? It's probably Joey Montia you're talking about. Yeah, amazing skater. I was lucky to race against him maybe for 2 years at World Championship 2004 and 2005. 2004 in L'Aquila and 2005 in Suzhou, China. Okay, Pascal, can you plan to upload the full video on your channel? So this video normally it stay and you can look at it again later on the channel, no problem. It should be there again. If you like it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel or tell your friends. I hope I can pass the 10,000 subscriber next week. That would be amazing. I think the double push equation depends on the skater, the road condition and weather condition. Yeah, of course, we have to adapt the double push up to the way your body is done. Depend if your muscles are more into your quadriceps or in your glutes, or how much speed legs you can generate. So all this double push you have to create based on how your body is. So from the video you can get some tips, and that's why I try to do video to try to give some knowledge from the sport. But there is no secret that one video or one tip will work for everybody. For example, when I do coaching, I can tell something to one skater and I can tell the opposite to another one, because the way they want to react to the information, it can be different and successful for both. So there is not one coach that say the whole truth. From a coach to another, you can have different information and both are very good. So it's your job as a skater to test different information and find what is working good for you. Next question. I find it hard to put my body weight over when I'm skating, but on dry land it's easy. So what is the best technique on this? Also, so it's question from James. Very good question. So James, if you have this problem, it's basically that you went probably too fast on the basic of the agility. And if you are still afraid to get in this position like Bart what is doing with your upper body, all your body weight on the outside of your skate, if you're afraid to get there, or if you can't go there, that means you are not good enough on doing slalom on one leg. So basically you need to be really good on doing slalom on one leg to be able to generate this kind of position. So it's a lot of work, and most of the people and most of the adults actually, they would do a little bit agility at the beginning, and as soon as they feel they are comfortable, they will go to already to more speed. But always go back to the basic when you have this kind of problem. Do some slalom, And for example, at the moment with confinement, we cannot skate everywhere. But it's quite easy maybe to find a very little space in front of your house where you can put a slalom and train for this. You will probably get some good results by making your slalom skills much more important. And I'm still doing some actually. At the moment, I'm not good enough to play with my ankle edge to edge. So I'm still doing this to be able to get a better outside edge position with my body weight transfer. So that's one of the key, and everybody is dropping this part of the training because we just want to go fast. But if you are not able to bring this body weight on the outside here, that just means, in my opinion, that you are not good enough on your outside edge and controlling your outside edge. So you can do slalom, and if you film yourself doing slalom and your body weight is doing the job, but your skate are going straight and you do the slalom like this, it doesn't count. For me, it doesn't work. It works only if you are able to play with the ankle outside to inside. And it's quite difficult feeling to get, but I recommend to do a lot of this training. Next question. What is it? Hello Philippe from Nantes. How does different gradient uphill downhill affect the double push? So if there is a little bit uphill, actually it's a very positive and very effective for the double push, because then you can generate a lot of pressure and power into the ground. Then when the uphill is going very hard, then you don't need the double push because you are not rolling enough compared to what you get, and you will have to be more straight with your upper body. You will have to open quickly, more early, the skate during the push. So basically, if the gradient of the uphill is going a lot, basically you don't need a lot of almost no double push at the end. And if it's going downhill, at the beginning of a downhill, it's also super effective because you can, more than by playing with pressure, but playing with your body weight, you can generate some body weight transfer to maintain the speed. But if the downhill is getting too aggressive, then it will be more about aerodynamic. So you have more interest of finding a more aerodynamic position that keeps skating and doing a double push effort. One more question I want to ask about the crossover, the under push. When does it end? So it's more a question about crossover. So maybe let's say tomorrow or after tomorrow, let's say Monday evening, I will try to do another live, and maybe we can do something about crossover, because I don't want to go in too many subjects in one evening. But please remember me to do this. I will communicate on my Instagram, which is my name plus 1976, my birth date. And I will communicate about this, and maybe I will do a next live about technique and crossover. What exactly do you mean when talking about agility? So agility is all the exercise you would do as a beginner. Jumping on your skate, standing on one skate and playing with your edge, being able to jump and skate backwards, turning around when you skate, changing direction. All these little drills, let's say backward, stop, jump, stand on one skate, and these little things, this is what we call agility on skate. And for me it's the basic, and the hockey players, they are very good in this. The aggressive skaters, they are very good in agility, and it's the weak point of most of inline skater. And for example, if you feel that your level, that you don't make any progress in skating, if in the last few months or years you feel you don't make progress, it's probably because your agility level is too low. So when you have a moment when you have no more progress in technique, go back to the basic, make your agility level higher, and it will probably unlock some secret movement that you couldn't do because of the agility. The agility is basically the ability to find the perfect balance on your skate, that you can put your body weight at the perfect place with stability. It could be a resume like this, but it's mainly the drills. You want to be comfortable in jumping and comfortable at least in standing on one leg and play with your edge. Can you give some hint how to manage taking turns in left leg only? This is one drill from my coach. I just could not do and do not know why. Though it's about the same, it's some agility things and balance on one skate. This is some drills you have to repeat a lot. And let's say that for the next live I will do about crossover, and for sure we will then speak about these drills of staying on the left skate or the inside skate during the turns. This is one of the most important drills. If you don't get this, you will spend some turn on the right leg, and it's the left leg which is the most effective in my position. So let's do live, let's say Monday evening, 8 o'clock at the French time again, and we will be about crossover. Is it me or double push on 4 times 110 is easier than 3 times 125? No, it's very true. It's much easier to do the double push with 4 times 110, and on the 125 it's more difficult for two reasons. Main reason is because of the big wheel size, it's much harder to play edge to edge. So there is much more less edge to edge needed with 125. So because of double push, you need to play more with your edge. When you are 125, it's much more difficult. Also, because the double push technique is made to delete the rolling moment. And we want to delete the rolling moment. Basically, it was made by Shad when we were skating on 80 millimeters or 84 millimeters. Because the rolling moment, if we have a rolling moment on small wheels, the speed will drop fast. With bigger wheels, the rolling moment is less a negative moment. So 125 is even more, it's rolling enough, almost like on the ice, I would say. So you need less double push because you lose less speed during the little rolling moment. So that's why it's harder to manage with a 3 times 125. In my experience from Stephen, the quality of the boot has more of the influence on agility to do double push than 3 versus 4 wheels format. It's also true. Most important for this is to have shoes, and I can tell you from one shoes to another there is an amazing consequence. Even from two custom shoes, from the same brand, from the same custom maker, they will never be perfectly the same, and they will never give the same exact feeling. So you need a little bit of luck when you choose your shoes or when you make custom that the shoes is giving lots of feeling. Basically, in my career, I maybe I got 20 pair of custom shoes, and 10 of them I had a good feeling. 8 of them the shoes was not working, and maybe 2 or 3 of them it was magic. So you need a little bit of luck. In many sports it's like this, and I can tell you some skater when they find the custom shoes where the carbon is creating some magic feeling, you have to keep it almost for all your career. So I know some skater maybe like I keep the same carbon on my shoes for almost all my career. I was repairing the carbon every year, changing the outside. I know Gwendal Lepever is doing the same. I think Felix is kind of doing the same also. But actually with Sergio we got more regular shoes at the moment, so it's possible to get more the same feeling. And that's why I have 2 pair of shoes at the moment, but it's super hard to get one pair where you have the really magic. So it's a good question also. How can I improve? Another question from John Boven. How can I improve timing? I feel like I land my skate too late. That make it hard to finish my inside push. Exactly. If you are landing too late, then your body weight will fall too early then, and then you have no time for the inside push. So it's really about the timing of how you bring back your free legs. You have to make it come back earlier to generate this. So maybe, from what I understand from the question you asked me today on the other post on this question, probably you're going too fast with your body weight. So if your body weight is moving too fast, you don't have time to generate a soft, slow landing. So try to calm down and maybe move a little bit slower to have more control on your body weight. Okay, so that's about 1 hour live. I think it was great. Thank you for the question. I think we had an amazing moment here sharing and speaking about this double push technique, and especially this analyze from Bart. Thank you, Bart, for sending me this video today on social media. I recommend to go on his Instagram, and you can subscribe to his Instagram. Always, like I say, don't forget to subscribe the channel. Also go look Felix Reinen channel. It's quite good also quite good video. And let's say next meeting talking about crossover Monday evening at 8 o'clock. Thank you for following, and see you next time for more video.